my name is Airyus, and I play Blades. Losing helps me learn much faster than winning. That's why I've decided to launch this new series, Arena Chronicles of Airyus. As many of you know, there are many secrets and techniques used by the top tier players. If you look at the top guilds, many of those players are there. This knowledge is held sacred and kept within those guilds, as in my mind thinks is fair and respected. My intent is to share what I've learned in the fights I lose, to help put a different perspective around the techniques I learned that help me win. Let me recount a tale of the time I went head to head with a mighty warrior that calls himself Randall. I quickly noticed our level difference. I was at 58, he at 85. Neat. I launched an offensive assault, confident my frost weapon was enough to keep his stamina drained. With my HP at 80%, I had already brought him down to 5%. I thought I had him. I knew I was wrong as soon as he took his reckless fury stance. I watched helplessly as my paralyze bounced off his chest, and I was cut down by his mighty two-hander in less than 4 seconds. It took me a minute to get back up. I was perplexed as to why my paralyze didn't stop him. I knew I had to keep his stamina drained, so I switched to a weapon that did just that. I launched into another aggressive assault. It was met with a smell of sulfur and melted earth. That wall of fire that popped up made me hesitate, and that gave him the upper hand. I fired off my own burst combo. His HP was halfway down. His attack slowed, so I was convinced the stam drain was working, until I saw him back in his reckless fury stance. I couldn't even cast Paralyze this time, because he had already drained my magic with his thunderstorm spell earlier. A grin through his Stalrum helmet was the last thing I saw before I was back on the ground. I was getting wrecked, but I knew what I was doing wrong, so I charged right at him again. This time I grabbed my shield. He met me with a light one-hander and a shield of his own. He baited me with a shield fake, and I fell for it. I took the stun and used recovery strikes to return the pressure. Comboing into a harrying bash, it landed successfully and reset his cooldowns. He couldn't use any skills or spells. I took advantage and kept swinging, but that was my mistake. I still had plenty of magic left to cast Consuming Inferno, which would have drained his stamina first, then his health, but I trusted Rage over Instinct and lost to him again. Get back up. You're not done, is what I told myself. I threw down my shield and faced him again. This next match started with both of us going to a block. As cooldown for my ward spell expired, I attacked and cast ward at the same time because ward was an instant cast spell. But he was faster. He blocked and cast thunderstorm at the same time. I was forced to use recovery strikes again to pull me out of the stun. I comboed into quick strikes, but his thunderstorm was doing much more damage this time. I wonder if he used a shock poison. I snapped back to reality just in time to see him cranking back his two-hander. I put my block up and waited, but so did he. And he kept waiting, holding his weapon until I couldn't hold up my block anymore. When my block went down, he swung through for a full 573 damage. I tried to execute a piercing strikes maneuver, but I took another 759 damage to the face. None of my usual strategies were working. I had to do something completely different, so I looked to my Dragonbone Fire Sword. I didn't use it often because it wasn't fully tempered. It wasn't fully tempered because Severio couldn't get any bonus enchantments on it. He's such a worthless hack. But I remembered a low-tempered Daedric light flame shield I recently acquired from a slain ancient dragon. It had the flame bonus enchantment I needed. Knowing it would give power to my lower tempered sword, I knew that this combo could prove useful. We exchanged blows early on, and he was definitely taking advantage of his increased attack speed by using a light one-hander again. Even though the damage was less, light weapons give bonus combo damage, and he was definitely landing combos. I finally got a chance to breathe because I stunned him with a block, but not even a second later, he was back on the offensive with his own recovery strikes. Using a combination of ice spikes and staggering bash, he kept me stunned, keeping me on my heels. It was a good thing I was wearing my necklace that gives a 20% shortened stun bonus enchantment. Because of that, I was able to recover just in time to see another ice spike combo coming at me. I managed to block it and hit him with my own combo. The second swing landing as a critical combo. It was a quick 400 damage. At this point, I had no idea what his HP was, or even mine. I was in the moment and knew that I had to keep the pressure. I saw his fingers moving to cast Ice Spike, and knowing that it has a 1-second cast time, I launched a 2-hit combo. The last swing knocked him clean on his back. Although the match was far from over, seeing this mighty warrior fall to my weapon was like nothing I've ever felt before. I wanted to do it again. As he got back up, I noticed him looking back at me, smirking in approval and nodding his head. We kicked off the final round and he had already switched back to his two-hander. Since the fire sword did well because of the dot damage, I went to my strongest sword with another type of dot damage, poison. I also grabbed a frost shield that was carrying a secondary bonus enchantment for poison. This had to work. The fight was off to a good start. I did a fair amount of good combo and critical combo damage, but the wall of flames came up again. This time, I didn't hesitate. I charged right through, cutting his HP to half, but because I used poison, he was able to get back into his reckless fury stance early in the fight, which means the fight was going to end early for me. He shouted for me to get back up, and I did. We continued to fight tirelessly into the night. I managed to knock him down one more time, and he just continued to pummel me with combat knowledge, literally. It cost me 4 rounds of repairs, and I don't even know how many trophies I lost, but I was content. That wraps it up for this episode of Arena Chronicles of Airyus. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.